think one of the really important things for any gym owner or coach out there to do right now is to ask yourself, what's my job? What's my job? At the end of the day, what is my job?
Hey, good morning, guys. This is Eric LeClaire over at Push Press, and we are closing in on our 50th episode for In the Trenches. And as we've kind of matured through this season, we've had a chance to get to know and connect with some fantastic leaders in our community. And each leader has presented us with little bits of information, education, and calls to action, not only to continue to thrive and succeed through what we see as things like a second round of COVID, but also some illuminating opportunities to provide some value and to grow and to turn ourselves into future leaders of our community. And so from the bottom of my heart, I want to say for this morning's guest, all the way from New York, we're in California, so it's a little earlier for us. Sean from Active Life, man, thank you so much for your time. Super happy to have you on today. And I know that we're going to be able to dig through a lot of the confusion, a lot of the frustration, and a lot of kind of the myths and the fear-based stuff. And we're going to be able to get rid of that and provide some opportunity for our coaches and our gym owners today, because we've got some stuff coming in the future that we want to be successful at. So Sean, or Dr. Sean, thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure to be here, Eric. My favorite people in the world to talk to are people who talk about ideas and people who then take action on the ideas. And to narrow that down even more specifically, people whose ideas improve the lives of other people. And so there isn't a better segment of people in the world to be talking to on a regular basis for me than gym owners, especially given the way that the market exists, in that when I got into my first gym, I had no business background. I did the back of the napkin math. 37 members, we're break even if we charge $175 a month in Long Beach, New York. And then we opened the gym with 54, I think, 52, 54, something like that. And we weren't break even. I'm like, how did that happen? And
the math was wrong.
Yeah. And frankly, I didn't know how to figure out where I went wrong. I didn't know how to figure out what the average cost per member per month was. I didn't know what my acquisition cost per member was, and I wasn't even running ads. So of course it's, oh, well then it must be free. It's not free. It's not free. I was splitting the paychecks with my business partner because I was the business end, the quote business end. I was the sales guy really. And he was the main coach. He coached 85% of classes. I coached 15%. So of course he got 85% of the pay and I got 15% of the pay. and that was my indoctrination into gym ownership. And I know that not much has changed in terms of the way that people get into gym ownership, and they have to learn the hard way. And it would be the privilege of my career to be able to help gym owners have the impact on themselves, their staff, and their members that they got into the business to have.
Right. I mean, today we need it. And you made a point to say that not much has changed. Absolutely. We opened and it was figure it out, stumble through the dark, same thing, no business background. Our communities was much smaller back in the early 2000s. So there wasn't systems and processes or mentors or guidance or leadership in a business aspect. There was maybe a telephone call of another gym 20 cities away that might be doing something similar. And it was a lot of stumbling. Today, you're able to impart wisdom, knowledge, and insight to touch those gym owners who in turn are able to touch hundreds, if not thousands of clients.
Yeah.
How did you bridge that gap between, or in your mind say, I'm going to school as a DC, but I've got a super big passion for fitness and I want to bridge that gap. Where did that idea come from?
So I was a personal trainer first. I became a personal trainer in 2004 at the CRC, the Community Recreation Center at University of Maryland. And I was a senior in college, and I wasn't muscular enough to make the baseball team. Like the coach literally told me, I love your fastball. I love your changeup. I love your slider. I love the way you hold runners on base. I love the way you can hit your spots. I just wish you were bigger. Like what does that mean? What does that even mean? But so for me, it was, okay, I'm going to learn how to get big. And I packed on about 10 pounds of muscle over the course of 3 years. So that wasn't exactly enough to make the team again when I tried out again. I got the same thing. Hey, I remember you from 2 years ago, or from a year ago. You were good then, and you're still good now. I wish you were bigger. I'm like, so I definitely developed this Napoleon complex, if you will, which was, okay, I'm going to learn how to get as big as I possibly can. And then the reality sunk in that I didn't really care about getting that big. It just wasn't a priority for me. But I enjoyed what I learned in learning how to do it. And I started training other people with no real formal education. But then by 2006, I was the highest grossing personal trainer at Equinox in New York. And it took me 5.5 weeks to go from 0 to there.
Wow.
So
yeah, there's definitely something special there.
Yeah, well, at that point I had some formal education, and I just wasn't willing to not be successful. Like they taught me that, the average trainer here becomes full-time in about 6 months. And the way that they do it is they give you floor shifts, and you got to be at the gym at 5:30 a.m. and then at 9 p.m. and all these random times. And you call on the people who end up in your mailbox as new members when they sign up. Well, there's 16 members. I mean, there's 16 coaches at the gym. If 100 members join each month, that gives me what? 7 phone calls a month? Right. And if those 7, 8 phone calls a month, 6 of them aren't interested at all. And the 2 who are, one of them is a tire kicker, and the other one you have to be able to sell. So I'm like, okay, so the math on that makes sense. It'll take 6 months, because if I get 1 referral per person I sign up, and the average person does 2.5 sessions per week, in 6 months, I'll be at 21 sessions a week. Right. I don't have that kind of time.
You're like, I want to shorten that window to success.
Yeah. So I worked in the gym, and I teach trainers in the gyms we work with. When I say I should stop taking credit. Our team teaches coaches in the gyms that we work with that the way to make a huge impact and a huge income is by working for free. Show up at the gym during the times that you want to take one-on-one training clients, and be the second coach in that class for free. Because if there's 10 members or 12 members or 15 members or even 8 members in one coach, the average on that, let's just take a 10-member class to one coach. Right. There's going to be about 6 to 8 minutes of whiteboard time, right?
Time, yep.
Then there's going to be about another 10 minutes of warm-up time. So now there's 18 minutes gone. We're left with 42 minutes. Then there's going to be the A section of class, or if you just do one workout, that's fine. There are now 10 people and 42 minutes, right? So the trainer gets in a group class at most 4.5 minutes of attention per member per day.
Yep, all the way around.
And the reality is, while I'm coaching this member, I have to have my eyes on the class, or I lose the value of what's going on. So we divide that in half. Now you get 2 minutes, 2.25 minutes of one-on-one attention with a coach in a class. That's not getting you to your goals very fast. Right. And if you have a problem, the coach might not see it. And it's not the coach's fault. The coach might be trying, but they might miss that moment that your problem showed itself. We believe that there should be a second coach in that class who wants to be walking around, who's specifically looking for these problems, who does have the time to say, you're rounding your back when you deadlift. Can you try this? Yes. And they try that. That doesn't seem to be working. Can you put the weight down for a second? Yes. Reach down. Let me see how far you can reach. Wow. You can only scratch your kneecaps. I'm going to go grab some bumper plates, and we're going to lift that barbell up by about 4 or 5 inches. Wow, that felt so much better. Thank you. The lead coach in class doesn't have the time to do that. It would be irresponsible. And now that you were the second coach doing that, it's very reasonable to ask that person, hey, did you notice a change? Yes. I bet there's other stuff like that in the way that you're training that we could discover if we just did an assessment together. If I made some time, is that something that you would be interested in doing? Yep. Yeah, I would love that. Great. Boom. Free assessment. Now you're talking to somebody about the problems that they have that you can solve that despite the fact they've been in the gym for 2 years, group class hasn't been able to solve.
Yeah, no kidding.
So to get to the answer of your question, because I kind of danced around it, I wanted some context. The reason I got to be full-time in the gym so fast as a personal trainer was I wasn't going after jack dudes or hot chicks. I was going after the underserved population in the gym. And there was a physical therapy clinic inside of the gym. And I would take all of my clients up to physical therapy and say, what do I do with them? Their shoulder hurts when they do this. And they would just say, work around it. And I would say that's not valuable.
Yeah, not enough.
So I decided to go to chiropractic school. And when I wanted to save the world. And when I came out of chiropractic school, patients would be like, just how can you make me feel better? I'm like, it's not about me. It's you need to make yourself feel better. And I found myself hating treating patients in the typical chiropractic clinic. So I started treating patients out of CrossFit Garden City, which is a great CrossFit gym on Long Island. And I was like, these people get it. These people are interested. And I just found myself intoxicated by the CrossFit culture. And I had to open my own gym. So I opened my own CrossFit gym with my own clinic, and made every single mistake that you could possibly make. I mean, every single mistake.
Every capacity.
Yeah. I mean, like I lost friends. I lost business partners. I lost confidence. I lost all kinds of stuff. And I worked with mentors to try to help me do it. And I found myself in a situation where I was like, these mentors I'm working with have a plan, but it's not mine.
For you, right?
Right. It's their plan that they give to everybody else. And despite what I tell them, they don't change their plan. And I tried one mentor, and then I would try another mentor. And I don't want to sell anybody out. That's not my plan here. It just always felt like I was doing their cookie cutter thing through the years. Yeah. And it was like, okay, cool. I understand what I think I'm supposed to have now, but I don't.
Right. Still lost at the end, bewildered a little.
Yeah. It's like everybody tells you have to raise your rates. Okay. How? And when I raise my rates, what do I tell my members? What, like, they're all going to want to leave. And
without value, nothing. Just raise it.
No, just raise your rates. And then you need to sell more training sessions. I know I do. How? Like, I have a clinic here and I have coaches here. How am I what do I tell my coaches?
Sure.
So they can be more successful at selling training sessions? They just got to do it. Oh, okay, well, that doesn't work. And then what do I pay my coaches?
Dollars you're paying them. That was nothing. It was
nothing. And then it's what do I pay my coaches? Well, you pay them this much. And I was like, that's not going to work.
They're going to bounce.
Well, I tried it. And the coach was like, I'm not interested in that. Like, that's not worth doing the sessions for it.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to figure it out then. And I just started figuring it out on my own. And
hold on, let me back into that real quick, because that step right there, it's almost like it's frustration mixed with curiosity, but also for the right reasons, right?
Yeah,
for you, your coaches, and your clients, you wanted them all to succeed, and you're like, I need to do it myself.
Yeah, and I want to be careful when I say myself. I didn't do it on my own. I hired a mentor who never worked with gyms before.
Interesting. How'd you find that?
He happened to be a member of the gym.
Oh, always. Yeah. Excellent.
And so he was a patient in the clinic, and he was a really smart guy who had sold the company for 8 figures on his exit. And he was just the kind of guy who could tell that we had something and was frustrated for us that we weren't pulling it out.
Right.
And I just asked him one day if he would coach us. And he said, yeah. So at the time I was making, full disclosure, I owned a clinic that patients were flying in to come and see me from. Like, wow. I'm talking about patients would fly in from Finland. The first guy who flew in was from Nevada. I'm in New York. Wow. The
Wow.
next guy was from Finland. His name was Johan. He called himself the refrigerator because he had no mobility. The guy from Nevada was named Will, and Will was just a friend of a friend. And he's like, I want to come out and see you. I heard that you're doing things really differently. And I'm like, yeah, sure. It's like $1,000 because I thought he wouldn't come. And he's like, okay,
friends.
yeah. And he's like, okay, are you free in 2 weeks? I'm like,
I will be.
Yeah. So we started treating patients from all over the place. I hired this mentor because at the time I'm doing what you would think is everybody's dream. We have a gym with 170 members paying $170 a month on average, $160, whatever it was at the time. I have a clinic where patients are flying in from overseas for appointments. I'm working with CrossFit Games athletes that most people, just root for when they show up. It's like I'm at the games backstage the whole time. I don't get to watch the games.
Right.
I'm working on my patients, like my clients backstage in the lobby or in the warm-up area. And I was making like $30,000 a year, working 17-hour days.
Yep.
And
with all of this fanfare, right? All of it.
Yeah, from the outside looking in, it was great. Mm-hmm. But from the inside, I remember approaching my wife one day and crying in the kitchen of the house, telling her, I don't feel like the man that I'm supposed to be. I don't feel like a man who's supporting you. I don't feel like we're in a relationship that is fair to you. It just feels like you're the one who's carrying me, and I don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah, and
her support was major, because that's when I said, you know what, I'm going to hire this coach. And I paid him $1,000 a month for 2-hour meeting once a month.
Wow.
And the first thing that he taught me was, if you want to be more successful, you need to become a better person. It's not about business tactics. It's not about your pricing. It's not about your marketing. It doesn't matter what Facebook funnel you run. You need to become a better person. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm great. I'm like, I'm great. And he's like, no. He's like, here's the problem. You treat everybody the way that you want to be treated. I said, yeah, isn't that how you're supposed to do things? He said, no, not at all. He's like, I got news for you. There is nobody, not one person in that gym who wants to be treated the way that you want to be treated. And that for me was like major revelatory.
Yep.
And so that changed my life. That was the first year of my life that I made $100,000.
Outstanding.
And what's that?
Outstanding.
Yeah. And in doing that, I started to recognize that my friends didn't have that kind of coaching. My gym owner friends didn't have a clue about that, and they were struggling the way that I was. Trainers were working in gyms transiently and working a second job or a third job, where they were the police officer, and everyone liked them, but they didn't really care about training as a career because they didn't need it, they didn't want it. And I recognized that I couldn't stay in my gym or my clinic anymore, because the energy that it took me to not try to help everybody get the help that I got from this transformative mentor to me was too much.
Sure.
So I left the gym, I left the clinic, and started Active Life.
What a wild ride and a truly personal, transformative moment. If you were to look back, would you say that challenged you like never before, or were you in a moment of life where you said something has to change and I'm now willing? Like you raised your hand and said, this is the moment I have to be willing to change.
The moment that I hired that mentor in that first meeting, he said, you got to be a better person. And he said, you don't know yourself well enough to know how you need to change. And he asked why I do this. Why do you do this? And I was like, that's easy. I want to leave a legacy for my family. I want to provide for my family. And I want to change the industry. And he's like, that's really, really sweet. So you do this for your family? I'm like, yeah. He's like, that's Sean. He's like, that's really noble. I'm like, thank you. He's like, it's also bullshit. I said, what do you mean? And no one had ever talked to me like that before. And
Right.
him talking to me like that, frankly, like it was a major turn on.
Yeah.
I was like, boom, 6 to midnight.
Yep.
Like that was a turn on. And he's like, if your wife and kids died today,
would you still do it?
Do you stop doing what you're doing? I'm like, no, I would keep doing it. And he's like, then stop saying you do it for them. He's like, start being more selfish, and understand that you do it for you, so that when people come to you and start asking you things, understand that while it's not about you, it's always your fault, and you're making decisions for yourself.
Right.
I'm like, what about when I donate to charity? He's like, first of all, you can't afford to donate to charity, so stop doing that until you're making enough money. He goes, but if the charity that you donated to said that's it, instead of thanking you for your money, would you keep donating to them? I said, no. Yeah. He's like, but the money would have the same effect for the person that you're donating it to. So why wouldn't you keep? I'm like, it would feel like shit. And he's like, so it's about you.
Yep, always.
And I said, okay, that makes sense. So the first thing that we teach people at Active Life that we work with is, it's not about you, and it's always your fault. And so what that means is you always have the ability to change your circumstances, COVID or not. Like, right. COVID didn't happen to you, it happened to everybody. And nobody is trying to hold you down. No one knows who you are. So stop giving them that power. And that's where we start with everybody. And it takes a special kind of client to come through that.
Of course. No, that makes sense. Speaking of that, who is your target market client? Who do you service today? Is it the gym owner? Is it the GM? Is it the coach? Is it a single personal trainer? Is it a remote online coach?
I view Active Life like a stool. So we have 3 legs to the stool. And the first leg to the stool is the individual who's dealing with aches and pains, and their everyday life is limited by the way that their body looks, feels, or performs.
Okay.
We have a team of incredible coaches who help those people one-on-one. Us being able to do that serves us one purpose. That is not our profitable side of the business.
Okay.
But what that does for us is it lets other coaches see, if there are people reaching out to Active Life who live in my town, I could service them. Why are they reaching out to Active Life? And our plan is to take all of our one-on-one coaches and turn them into mentors for one-on-one coaches who can take care of clients on the ground.
Right.
But we're using our coaching as the race car. We're building the race car. We don't need to sell the race car, but we're going to take the technology that's in the race car and now pass it down to the coaches who are teaching how to do what we do.
Yep. Okay.
So we're going to make mistakes with our own clients and help you not make the same ones. And we're going to make great gains with our clients and help you make those same ones. So okay. One leg is proof of concept. We work with clients all the time, one-on-one, thousands of clients from around the world. Then the second leg is we teach the coach how to be successful in any gym environment. And well, let me backtrack. Any gym environment that will allow them to do one-on-one training.
Okay.
Right? It's not like you're $18 a class and that's it, because we can't help that person in that situation except to get out of it.
Right.
So we help the coach.
Quick, you've been very vocal about that, almost counter to a lot of mentorship practices or a lot of different coaching practices. Do you? Let me see if I can say this the right way. Would you provide, or do you provide an opportunity for those coaches that feel stuck in that role, $18 an hour group class? There obviously is something for them with you as well too, right? Or no?
We would help them find employment at a ProPath gym, because the average ProPath gym grew, made more money, had more clients during COVID
COVID.
Before COVID.
Got
And
it.
they're constantly needing to hire really professional trainers who are willing to go through the education and put in the work.
Got it.
So we constantly are referring them. In fact, if anyone's listening to this right now, Chris Spieler is a ProPath gym owner in Park City, Utah. He needs a good coach. So if someone wants to go work for Chris Spieler, he's looking for someone to work for him.
Awesome.
So that is one of the ways that we help coaches ascend themselves into better gyms, work with more professional gym owners. Then the third leg of the chair is the gym owner. And that frankly started by accident. We were helping coaches, and in a few cases, the coaches we were working with went from making like $350 a month, you know, like the standard, like I coach 2-3 classes a week and that's my thing, to making $100,000 a year. And the gym very quickly took notice, and the gym owners were like, what's happening here? And they decided that they wanted us to help them do that with more of their coaches and do that with more of their gym. And so we couldn't resist the demand to help gym owners turn their entire gyms into a place that could do this.
From that gym owner, let's talk about that gym owner leg here for a second, because I think that's going to be a significant portion of folks kind of tuning in and listening. Not only do we have individuals who are very, very narrow focused on, here's my deliverable, it's group exercise, and that's all I do. Is there like an overhaul process or an assessment phase that your system helps gym owners along to assess maybe the health or the capacity of the gym prior to kind of going into your system?
Yes. So one of the biggest problems that we ran into when we first started coaching gyms was that our education is very expensive, and it's extremely thorough, and it's extremely fast. It's a year, like the first year of the education is like drinking from a fire hose.
Got it.
So some gyms that we brought on did extremely well. Talking about like starting with us at $14,000 in September, and this September they did $33,000. And last time they were doing no profit, and this time they were at 20% profit. So that, to me, that's a gym doing extremely well. We've had gyms who sold $30,000 in personal training in their first week working with us. And that's not normal. That is not the average gym who works with us. But there were also gyms who we moved too fast for. And so what we've started to do is more prescriptive coaching. So what that means is, instead of this is the pace of the education, it's these are the KPIs for you to graduate this portion of the education and move to the next one.
Yep. Awesome.
Eric, everybody wants the marketing trick. Everybody wants, how do I get more members into my gym? That's what I think I need.
Right.
And we believe that sometimes that's true and sometimes that's not true. And that is not true when your gym is a place that members are coming into and leaving. When members are coming in and not paying you enough money to be there. And the analogy I like to provide is the gym that thinks they need more members is probably functioning like a stream. A stream means members walk in, they see if they like the way the water feels, and then they stay or they get out on their own accord. Before we start helping you get more members, which we do, we want to help you convert your stream into a 6-foot deep class 5 whitewater rapid.
Yep.
So that when people come to the edge of the stream, they're like, I don't know if I want to get in that. That looks like a big commitment. Do I have a helmet? Am I wearing a life vest? Will there be a guide?
Yep.
And now what happens is when those people decide, okay, I'm hopping in the raft, let's do this. They are downstream before they know what hit them. And there's no way that they can get out. They don't want to get out. They're having too much fun. They're making too much progress. And that's how you grow a gym.
Awesome.
Because now you have that. Now it's, well, now let's bring 1,000 people to the riverbed.
Right.
And see who wants to get in.
Yep, totally. Yep. Yeah, there's nothing worse than saying, here, here's 100 brand new people. Let me go ahead and break all your systems, break your process, or expose the fact that you have no systems, you have no process, there's no order, there's no ascension, there's no care.
Right.
Then
for us, step one is let's get you feeling confident about your business by helping you make more money, providing more impact in the same space, with the same staff, with the same members, with the same time that you already have. Let's not rock the boat.
Sure.
Let's offer an opportunity to the members who are already there, who want to pay more for higher value services, to do so, and leave everybody else unaffected. Let's let new members who are coming in have no choice but to opt into the higher value service and leave everybody else unaffected. And as we start to grow your revenue and your confidence and your value, then we can turn around to the members who are paying less and say, look, we really no longer feel good about offering you the service that you've been getting. Everybody who's paying this price is getting faster results, more fulfillment, and they're referring their friends because of how much fun they're having.
Yep.
We can't, in good conscience, keep you at the price that you're at right now. So over the course of the next month, 3 months, 6 months, whatever fits the gym owner's personality,
yep,
we are going to increase your rate to this and increase your services to this. And if you don't want to stay, we understand. We've actually already called the other 3 gyms in town, and we know what they're great at. And we were happy to refer you to the one that would be best for you.
Yeah, completely different strategy than simply saying, as of, let's say, January 1, 2021, all of your prices go up to this and no service change.
Correct.
Yeah, way different.
And it's deliver the service before you do it. Start delivering the service before you do it. Like it's almost like a freemium model. You know, you're gonna get 50% of the elevated service at 0% of the elevated price. People who pay the elevated price, you're going to get 100% of the elevated service. And that other 50% is where a lot of the real magic is going to happen. But you getting this 50% is going to make you aware that I really want that other 50%.
Yeah, completely. And man, I dig it. I totally dig it. Where have you met? And I mean, obviously, you're the face, you're the leader, you're the orchestrator of all of this. Where have you met resistance in developing this model and then delivering this model to, let's say, new gym owners? If you were to think like maybe top 3 resistance points.
I'll give you 2. I'll give you the internal resistance and the external resistance. The internal resistance, when I say that, I mean from our own clients, has been, I don't know if our members would do that. It's different here.
Got it.
It's not different there. All of the things that we create are specifically designed to match who you are and where you are. If you own a gym in San Antonio, Texas, your prescription is going to be different than a gym in Manhattan. It's going to be different than a prescription of a gym in Orlando.
Right.
It's going to be different than a prescription of a gym in Boise. We take into account the population in your area, the gym saturation in your area, the median household income in your area, the kind of gym that you want to own. Right. Because I think the cookie cutter is a disaster for the industry. I think it's important that we say there are 3 different kinds of gym models that we feel really confident we can help you build. Do you want one of them? The first model is mostly group with personal training. And that means that you're going to need a higher volume of people in your group, and you're going to make a lot of your income from a small percentage of your membership.
Right.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. The second model is some group, some specialized group, some personal training. The demand there is that the coaches need to have a higher level of sales skills.
Yep.
Because the ownership or whoever's bringing people through the door do, because they're going to need to tell people, yeah, there's a $150 option here. There's also a $400 option here. I think you're better for the 400 when they are, and be able to explain to them why that's the case. The third option, and let members move up and down. The third option is a completely specialized group class that includes personal training, where everybody who walks through the door is paying between $400 and $500 a month at a base minimum.
Right.
That's before they get nutrition. That's before they get their second personal training session.
Right.
And in that business model, it requires a really high level of coaching acumen, a high level of sales acumen at the start, and a low level of sales acumen from the coaching staff, because they don't need to sell anything. They just need to execute what the team has brought in. And we don't have any dogma about which one of those three you should run. So when we work with a gym, it's which way is most interesting to you.
If you were to have to speak to the percentage of all three of those in your world,
the aggressive majority start with the big group and the small one-on-one, because it's the smallest departure from what they're currently doing.
Right. That's what I was going
to. And then the natural transition is to some specialized group class, because members want it and they need to downsell from really expensive one-on-one training into more expensive than regular group class, more attention, specialized class, but way less expensive than one-on-one all day long.
Got it.
And then those gyms find that typically what happens over time, those classes are full, the demand for them is super high, and they're like, what do I do? I have to get rid of my 9:30 a.m. big group class. People are going to be pissed. Say, well, do you want to or not? Match demand or don't, and it's up to them. And that's when we help them make the decision. But that's the internal resistance.
Right.
External resistance is, I've already worked with a company and they made me all of these promises, and then none of them came true, or some of them came true, or even worse, and I think things are going well. Okay, why are we talking right now if things are going
out? Yep.
Right. And it's, I just wanted to see if there's anything else out there. Okay, well, I don't go shopping for girlfriends. I'm married. I'm married and I'm not shopping for girlfriends.
That's the title of today's episode. I'm not shopping for girlfriends.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So, I actually sent a DM to somebody the other day. I send a video message to everybody who follows me when I can. Sometimes I miss people as they follow me. And I sent a message to someone. I was like, hey, I see that you're local. I think that your account is great. It would be great to meet up sometime and talk business. And then I realized, I'm like, wait, this is an attractive female who might think that. And I'm like, no, hold on. And I went back in and I was like, once again, thanks for the follow. My wife would probably love coming to your hair shop sometime. Like, just dropped it there. But it's the biggest thing for us to overcome, and it's really frustrating, is I've worked with other mentors, or I'm working with another mentor right now, and I didn't get what I wanted to get out of it, or I got some stuff out of it and I want to try to execute on it. And I'm like, what? Why are we talking?
Yeah.
They're like, well, it would be cool to, like, I've heard you say this. And the hardest thing to overcome is the failure of another company.
Right. Of course.
Despite their best efforts. I don't think that any of these companies are going into the game with the intent of duping people. I do believe that the way that a lot of people get educated by other companies does lead to a scarcity mindset. It leads to playing it safe. It leads to very structured and menu type. How do you want to get to your income? And I believe that as soon as you offer a coach something like, okay, what's the income you want to earn? This. How do you want to do it? I can pay you this much for this task, this much for this task, this much for this task. Every task that they choose that's not coaching is a bet against themselves to be able to make that income coaching.
Right.
And it's I believe it's unintentional, and I believe that it is dangerous because it becomes insidiously negative self-talk about their ability to do this as a fitness professional. And that leads to the commoditization of the industry and people feeling like they have to get real jobs or that they can't tell people this is what they do.
Sure.
And that for me is
heartbreaking.
Yes. Like there are so many gym owners who have been kicking tires with us for 10 months because they're not confident that we're going to be able to do things differently than the coach that they're currently working with and afraid to fire.
Right.
Or that they've worked with in the past that didn't get them where they wanted to go. And what I tell people all the time is if somebody on our team is still talking to you 10 months later, it's because they believe that your life would be better if you were working with us. It is not because they're looking for a commission. We still turn away. Over 20% of gyms
are disqualified. Yeah.
If we don't think that we can give you the best results in the world for you, the results that you want, we're not going to take you as a client. And then when we get you the results that you want, we believe that it's our responsibility to help you expand the possibility of what results you probably should have wanted, but that you didn't even know that you could think about before.
Or wasn't even on the radar.
100%. Like we work with a gym right now, for example, who when they started with us, they were making like low $30,000 a month. And none of the trainers were full-time. They all wanted to be, but they couldn't be. Now that gym is having $50,000 months. By the way, they're in California, where everything's been shut down the entire time.
Yep.
One of the coaches just bought her first car. The owner just bought a house. And they've hired, I think, 3 more staff who are full-time trainers at the gym. And now it's, okay, you've gotten where you wanted to go in the gym.
What's next?
What do you want to do next? And to his credit, he was like, I want to build a personal brand. But then you should.
Yep.
Just be careful to build that personal brand at the detriment of the gym. And make sure that your personal brand shines lights on the staff that you have that helps hold you up so you can become a personal brand.
Right. Absolutely.
It's the old, you make $1 million, you get divorced, your wife gets half. Well, why does she get half? My wife should probably get 75% because without her, I wouldn't have the time or energy to do what I'm doing.
Right, exactly. A caveat to that third leg of the stool, the gym owners. Are those brick and mortar gym owners only? Or nowadays, I shouldn't say nowadays, I mean, because it's been an evolution over the past 3, 5, 6-ish years. Is there a segment of your education and a segment of your coaching that is dedicated to the online coach or the digital coach that might be working?
Yeah, so our immersion course for coaches and our pro coach program for coaches is where we would have somebody go there. You know, we would help somebody build a digital business. Even if they were a gym owner, we're looking at that as brick and mortar. If they're a business owner, like let's say, for example, my friend Lori Christine King owns Paragon Performance Methods. If she wanted to sign up with us, I would tell her it's not a fit. And I would refer her to somebody else for whom it would be a fit. And I would connect her to that person with a white glove introduction and say, look, as much as I would love to help you do this, there are people who are better to help you build an online company because I'm too focused on building mine.
Right.
You know, and ours does a really good job of servicing gym owners and coaches and their clients.
I dig it. Yeah, no, we come across, particularly in this last, let's just say since March. I mean, obviously we're discussing COVID. So many gym owners locally that were brick and mortar didn't have the infrastructure. Well, back up. They didn't have the desire and the will to be able to pivot. But at the same time, they had no service, no system, no process, and they closed. Some tried to pivot completely and get rid of brick and mortar and go 100% online, and then still didn't have systems and processes in place, and then just failed.
Business is necessary.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
So what you're getting at, if I understand correctly, is the gym owner who used to be brick and mortar, who's now online, could they work with us? Yeah. My answer to that would be maybe. maybe. And we would want to screen them first.
Of course.
So to provide my own caveat to that, the gyms who we work with in person, we do teach to help people online. But the online is because, I mean, we had a guy text me yesterday that members of other gyms in his town are leaving those other gyms and coming to him saying, I don't care what it costs. I hear what you're doing and I want to be a part of it.
Yep.
And he recently doubled his prices. Doubled.
Huge.
And
Yep.
I told him I would take your time doubling your prices. I don't think you should do it so fast. And he's like, nah, fuck it. I can't do this anymore. I'm like, oh, okay. That's like, let's buckle our seatbelts here. We're going to be having some conversations. And nobody left. Because members said to him, they're like, I was waiting for you to do this. You've been way undercharging for way too long. And the reason I bring that up is the people who come to his gym have family members and friends who live in places where there isn't a gym who's doing what he's doing. And they want help too.
Right.
So, we can't have our gyms in good conscience send those people to gyms that aren't doing what is necessary to help those people.
Right. Makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I wish there was a way, and I know you're doing as best as you can online. You have multiple different channels for folks to read. I mean, you give away so much. You've even got you've got a coach, a very popular coach, Coach Gary, when you're
Mm-hmm.
teaching through that. I'm going to call it comedy because I love it. I love the fact that every single thing that's ever irked me as a gym owner, you guys are hammering. Where did that come from? How did you guys come up with that?
I can't take any credit for that at all. And I don't know where they came up with the idea. But Larry Geyer is our lead talent educator. That's his role, talent educator. So what that means is he's the on-camera guy. He interviews me on the podcast. It's his job to figure out what are the pain points in the industry and how can we talk about them in a way that makes them fun.
Yeah.
And then Sean Cleary does our media, and the two of them just get together and I'll walk in the room and they're like, get out of here.
Yeah.
And why? They're like, well, we don't want you to fuck this up. You can see it on Instagram.
How big is your team right now? If you can speak to that, what have you built? What is Active Life as far as your culture?
We have 21, I believe, one-on-one coaches.
Okay.
Not all of them are full-time. We have 5 executive team members, if you will, who lead departments. We have Ray, leads R&D and supports operations. We have Ryan, leads operations. We have Vanessa, leads marketing. We have Pam, leads sales and relationships. And we have Nick, who leads coaching.
Okay.
Then we also have probably a total, if I had to add up all of the people on the Monday morning emails, like 35 people.
Okay. Are you in the way you see yourself leading from the front, educating? Do you see yourself stepping aside and grooming anyone else in your team, or do you still get fulfillment from what you do? Can you see yourself doing this for the next 3 years, 5 years, 7 years?
My clients now are the team.
Okay.
So I think one of the really important things for any gym owner or coach out there to do right now is to ask yourself, what's my job? What's my job? At the end of the day, what is my job? Right. And my job at Active Life is to ensure that everybody understands the value of the mission and is in for it. That's it. That's my job. And the number one way that I do that job, that's the second question that gym owners should ask themselves. How do you do that? My job is to create a safe and inspiring work environment for everybody on the team. Safe meaning they know they can come to me or anybody on the team with anything that they need. That includes our clients. Inspiring is when you have safety, you can think.
Correct.
It's the idea of,
yep.
It's the idea for any of you out there who study hormones. I know there's a bunch of coaches who study hormones. Your libido is going to go down when you're in fight or flight or freeze. Your libido goes down mid-workout. If you're really, really, really stressed, your libido goes down. It's the same in business. People's libido for creativity goes down when they don't feel safe in their role. And so we want everybody feeling safe in their role, meaning they know how they get paid. They know when they get paid. They know what they're responsible for. They know what they're not responsible for. They know who is responsible for that. They know how to improve the value of the company. They know how to improve the value of themselves within the company. They believe in the mission that we're trying to achieve as it's bigger than the mission that they would otherwise have for themselves. And now everybody is like, how do we do a better job? That's the only question that we're ever asking. I mean, we've had gyms who straight up, we failed for. We failed for gyms. And that is the number one thing that eats us up. And so one gym that we recently failed for, I'll give you an example. They were in our pro path and their coaches did not show up for the first 3 months of education. Just missed every meeting. They missed every meeting. And I was so proud of our team because when the gym owner reached out to me and said, like, we need to stop, it's not working. Our staff, instead of saying, well, they didn't do it, our staff came to me and said, we need to figure out how to better communicate the importance of showing up to these meetings.
Yep.
Because if they don't show up to these meetings, they're not going to get results. And if they don't get results, it's our fault. And I was like, that inspired me. It just gave me the chills to say it. And so we went back to that gym owner and I said, we fucked up. We didn't do a good enough job of helping the team understand the importance of coming to these meetings. So what I'd like to do is, without charging you anymore, I'm going to stop your credit card payments. I want to put your team back in these meetings with the next group who's going through it. And I want to communicate with you weekly and ensure that they're doing it and that they're getting value out of it.
Did they take you up?
They did take me up on it.
Awesome.
Yes. And to me, like, that's how we get better. That's how we help people.
Agreed.
You know, when we had gyms who started struggling during COVID, the thing for me that was inspiring was, before our team got to help these people, other gyms in our program were reaching out to these people and providing them help.
Yep.
And I mean,
that's not a sign of leadership and leaders helping to create other leaders. I don't know what is. That's amazing.
It's inspiring to me because we have a Facebook group that's only for the paid gym owners who are in the pro path to be in. We have one for the emerging coaches too. If you do something to make another person in that group feel bad, not only will we throw you out of the group, we'll throw you out of the program. Like, it's a safe place. And that means you don't shit talk your members in there. You don't shit talk your staff in there, because your staff is in there too, by the way.
Yep.
We don't keep secrets from the staff. One of the big things that we think is important is, let's not train the gym owner and hope that it gets to the team. Let's train the gym owner and train the team
at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're working with Active Life and you're a gym owner, your team is working with Active Life too.
Correct.
Directly. We're communicating with them.
Man, that's super important for transparency. I mean, let alone education and communication, but for transparency and the ability to also hold the gym owner accountable, because it's not just a downward and then distribution. It's the whole team is getting serviced at the same time. That's huge.
Yeah. And we have thrown gyms out of the pro path because we never should have. And that's on us. It's not on them. We never should have let them in.
Right. Agreed. Yeah. The filtering process obviously broke down there in that moment.
Yes.
Man, I've thoroughly come. I mean, just even today, thinking back of numerous challenges I've come across. Man, where were you in 2006, 2007?
Getting my ass kicked.
Yeah.
Getting my ass kicked in chiropractic school. That's where I was.
Right on. So, go ahead.
You had a question.
I was going to say, we're going to have individuals that are on the fence, maybe nervous about reaching out, making that first phone call, email, Instagram, DM, whatever. How do people find you, or how do they connect with you? What's the easiest way?
This is where people usually log off on the podcast. I want to give them something before I answer that.
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Usually people hear that and they're like, all right, that's the end of the show. I don't need to listen to this part. I'll give you guys that in a second. But what I want to do, if it's okay with you, because we talked about it before, I promised I would do it. I want to give it to them now. What to do if round 2 of COVID comes to their gym, so they're not holding the bag.
Go ahead.
Zoom classes won't work again. Your members are going to have PTSD.
Love this. Go ahead.
The members are going to have PTSD from Zoom classes before. And right now you're still open and you have some space to think and be creative and do things that are valuable. Here's what I'm recommending every one of our ProPath gyms do and that you should do. Start filming 1 month's worth of workouts that members can do from home. Have 2 versions of the workout. One workout includes all of the equipment. One workout includes none of it. If they say something like, well, I have a kettlebell, what should I do with that? Like, I don't know, fucking hold it while you do it. That's a you thing. Full equipment, no equipment. That's number 1. You're going to write 30 workouts like that, 30 days. Then you're going to film the exact same whiteboard lecture that you would give if they showed up to class. Warm up, workout, intent, timing, stimulus, all of that. Then you're going to demo all of the movements. Tell them at the end of every demo, pause this recording. If you need to practice, go back and watch it again. Then you're going to tell them, okay, the workout's going to get started. Make sure you have the following with you and around you. You know, space, a bench, a couch, whatever.
Yep.
You know, whatever they need. The workout's going to start. You're going to see a black screen come on, and then you're going to see a clock come onto that screen. That clock is going to count down the workout and run it like a class. Feel free to speak over the clock, inspirational, motivational things. Make sure you put a really good soundtrack on and treat it like a class. That's number 1. If you have really theatrical staff members, by all means, do the workout, do the whole workout. But if you don't have theatrical staff members, avoid that. The next thing, create Excel sheets right now. An Excel sheet that just has all of the dates. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. You don't even need the dates, just day 1, day 2, day. And every time a member does the workout that you wrote for the day, they come onto that sheet and they mark it as completed. And they write how it felt. Did the workout, felt great.
Yep.
The reason you're having them write how it felt is it gives you a thing for the coach to speak to the member about on their weekly check-ins, which leads me to the third thing that you're going to do.
Yep.
Your coaches are going to be assigned to a member, and they're going to have an available schedule, and they're going to create Calendly links that the members can schedule their calls on. And the members and the coaches are going to speak once a week about what they saw on the Excel sheet for the week. I noticed you only worked out twice this week. Is everything okay? I noticed that you marked things where we're feeling great. What could be better? I noticed that you said felt okay. What went wrong? That's what the coaches are going to do to make sure there's a higher level of service. And ideally, meet up once a month or once every week, once every 2 weeks in an outdoor place, cold or not. Bring your jackets and just let it suck together.
Yep. Connection.
Yes. And I believe that if gyms do that, they will be successful through the second round of COVID and their members will be happy, should they need to shut down.
Agreed.
I'm imploring you to do that. I'm imploring you to start it now while you have the time, while you have the bandwidth, while you can do the editing and the videoing and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, spot on. I mean, you just posted about this not too long ago. If it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before. Very selfishly, I tagged the gentleman that I sold my gym to, and his entire coaching staff just got tagged in that this morning.
Thank you.
I sincerely appreciate all of what you do, all of it. And I just wish there were more individuals who were willing to be heads up, realizing we're going to be facing this. So let's be prepared now. Let's be proactive now. Man.
Well, so Eric, now I'll get to kind of how people can find us, but I'll make it even more enticing for the people who are listening. I know that you're used to book a free strategy call, which is really, we're going to try to get you to buy our shit. I know that you're used to click here to download all the documents that we ever made, which is really, we're going to get your phone number and email and spam the shit out of you.
Right.
What we are doing for anybody who wants it is we are doing free 1 hour staff in-service meetings. So if you reach out and say, hey, we'd like an in-service, we have a meeting that is canned. What that means is we're going to teach you how to communicate with all of your members around why people get hurt in the gym. So that people understand they're not necessarily getting hurt in the gym. They had stuff going on that was revealed in the gym. We're going to teach you how to communicate that. Then we're going to teach you how we make decisions about what to do next. Is it a mobility issue, flexibility issue, strength issue? What do you do? We're going to teach you how to communicate that and how to understand that. Then we're going to teach you the very simple mindset switch that we give to all of our clients so that you can take the skills we just taught you and turn them into money the very same day. And the reason why we're doing those meetings is twofold. One, our mission is to humanize the doctor, professionalize the coach, to empower the individual. So we need coaches to be more professional, and that starts with communication. And we'll do it whether you're working with us or not. There won't be a sales pitch on that call. We're not even going to ask for your email except to email you the link. We're not putting you into some database. The second reason why we're doing those meetings is we believe that we're going to provide you with so much value on that call that you're going to want more. And you're going to come to us asking for it.
Right.
That's why we're doing those meetings. So anybody who's uncomfortable about potentially reaching out to me because they're concerned I'm going to sell them no matter what, I'm not. I'll sell you if I think that you should be sold. And if you're not ready to have the sales conversation, we'll put you into one of those meetings.
That's very, very creative. And at the same time, that's very kind of a very easy approach for folks. Tremendous value, excellent learning, great opportunity to connect, kind of lower those walls, but also see that, like you said, humanize at the same time. You guys care, and to be able to display that care and to be able to display that compassion is pretty huge. And there's a lot of that's lacking in a lot of systems, processes, mentorship programs, and so on. It's very cold. It's very automated. It's very systematized. It's very, like you said earlier, it's very cookie cutter, and there's not even an ability for folks to communicate. Hey, my name is Eric and I have these concerns. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I'm, whatever.
Exactly. And anyone who wants can find me straight up at Dr. Sean Pastuch on Instagram. And I'll forward you to the appropriate place if it's not me.
Wonderful. Man, so in wrapping up today, if there was a way for you to communicate to our platform of gym owners and leave them with one, I don't want to say inspirational, but we know, like I said, everyone is bracing for this next round of COVID. For us in California, we've got some pretty major restrictions that start today, some major restrictions that start tonight, and obviously Monday morning. A lot of gym owners are going to be forced to do a lot of things that if they didn't learn from round one, they had better be doing their work now. One bit of insight, what would you communicate to folks?
Ask yourself if you're going to be in this business in 5 years. Because if you're going to be in this business in 5 years, you can endure however long this is going to last. It's the reason why I'm able to stay even when things are up and when things are down for us is because I know that we're nowhere near where we're going to be or where we need to be. Right. And that's when we're up and when we're down. And that this is a long game. And if I had to go, what's that?
The long endurance event, you're right.
Yeah, and if I had to go into $1 million in debt to keep our company alive, I would, because I know where it's going. And so have that faith in yourself. You're going to be in this business in 5 years. So whatever comes today is going to be the story that you get to tell 5 years from now.
Outstanding. Man, Sean, thank you so much. I sincerely appreciate your time. And obviously the connection, me to you, it's super valuable. So we will definitely continue this discussion as well. And I urge the individuals that are watching today to dig deep. We've got obviously a holiday coming up, but at the same time, there's work to be done.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, make sure you like our channel, subscribe, and check out our other videos right here.